Hello, this is Bob, and today we're going to take a look at the communication cycle. If you've ever taken any college course on communication, you have probably seen this before, so this will not be new information, but I believe it will be important for us to become the type of change agents that we want to become if we really understand what takes place when communication is happening. And so what we see here is on the left-hand side of the screen, the word sender, and on the right, receiver. And for the purpose of this today, I am the sender and you are the receiver of information. And I would like to send information to you. So as I do this and I talk or attempt to communicate through this video to you, I am pushing information from me to you. But there's a problem. It's not as simple as just pushing information to you. There are filters or screens that information is going to go through. There are things that will block the message that I'm trying to get to you. For example, the language I use. Now, it's very possible in your setting, possibly even the country that you're in, the English language is spoken differently than I happen to speak it. We may have a different dialect. We could use a different accent. It's even possible that in some places that will watch this video, it will need to be translated first in order for that information to get across. And so that is one more way that it just blocks the information that's trying to get to you. Now, you can't see me right now, so you don't know that even as I'm talking to you, my hands are moving. And occasionally my face lights up and I smile as I think of something that might be humorous as I'm talking with you. And so you don't see the nonverbal portions of the communication. And so this will block how you hear what you hear, because in your mind you're having to imagine something, and your mind is working on something totally differently than the message that I'm trying to send. And the third thing that can block this message is a preconceived notion. A preconceived idea such as the word stewardship. You know, in my church, if I were to stand up on a Sunday morning and say, now next Sunday, I'd like you all to come back because I'm preaching a sermon on stewardship. 50% of the people wouldn't show up because they're convinced I'm going to talk to them about their money. The other 50% are only there because they forgot that I said I was going to talk about stewardship. So it's a preconceived idea that stewardship only deals with money, and it doesn't deal with everything that God owns, including my breath and my relationships and the Word of God itself that we've been called to become managers of. So it becomes important that I understand what these filters and screens are, that language could cause a problem, that nonverbal communication could cause a problem, that preconceived ideas could cause a problem. And it is my responsibility, because I am the sender, to overcome these filters or screens and make it possible for you, the receiver, to understand. Now, if we look back at our diagram and we see I'm pushing information to you and it's going through these filters and screens, but all of this is happening within the context of an environment. If we were in a classroom setting, we would be inside of four walls, and there would be windows, and there could be distractions outside the window. The temperature could be too warm or too cold. In this setting, our environment is this video. You are sitting possibly at home or an internet cafe. You may or may not have headphones on. You may have difficulty hearing me even as I speak right now because of the noise of the place in which you are watching this video. So I have to be aware of the environment that I am sending information. But it's not communication if all I do is send information. I need to receive feedback from you. And as I receive this feedback, you respond to me with the same filters and screens, the same environmental issues that I have when communicating with you. Which is why in this whole process of communication, it's important for us to understand that There are many reasons why people will not understand what it is we're trying to communicate with them. And so because even now I cannot see whether or not you are nodding your head and agreeing with anything I say, or you verbally respond and go, oh yeah, I get that. Because I'm not getting that feedback, I don't know if in fact this message is being received and how it's being received, and if there's anything I need to clarify. Which, for the purpose of this course, the environment you live in are the discussion forums, and that is how you respond back to me. So we have this communication cycle, and it will take place throughout your life in ministry. As you sit and you talk to people about becoming effective stewards of all that God has entrusted to them, as you sit and talk with them, you will notice that there are more effective and less effective ways of communicating. Because as you take into account all of this information that you are sending out, all the screens and filters that block, and how that all comes back to you, you will notice that there are ways of doing this that are more effective and some ways that are less effective. And we will talk about that more in the coming weeks. But the important aspect for you to grasp today is this. If you are the sender of information, whether it's regarding stewardship, your fund development efforts, the gospel of Jesus Christ, the primary responsibility for that information falls on the shoulders of the sender. You are primarily responsible for the information being received in a correct manner.